All right. Are you guys ready for some PvP? Tonight we're going to be bringing you the PvP Season 2 Invitational, and we've brought together some of the finest players in Ray class, and they're going to be duking it out for your entertainment. I'm Willy Wonka, and with me I got my good friend Green Dude. Green Dude, you there?
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this second PvP Invitational. Man, this is going to be exciting. We've got EU starting first, and then later today we're going to have the US gateway.
Yes, 2 tournaments in one day.
Yeah, pretty exciting. And this time around, we're actually going to be watching every single match. We're not going to miss any one of them. So we'll try to keep up the pace, be quick, and we're going to be able to see all of them. So you guys are going to be able to enjoy every match, and maybe even I've seen some people in chat already placing bets, so that's
yeah, the fan favorites.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for that. I think we're just gonna go ahead and just look quickly at the bracket, and then we'll get started with our first game without any delay.
Yeah. So, Green Dude, first of all, how did people qualify for this? I think that's important to just note.
Yeah, so we have a season, a PvP season, where you participate in events and you get reward points, and so the top players from that were getting invited. There's also a way to qualify via the town queue, so if you're queuing up in town and fighting people and gaining ranks, we took the best from that as well. So
so this is the cream of the crop.
Yeah, we've even invited everyone who's won a Swiss tournament. So in order to qualify for this, you have to be pretty good, right? So we really do have the best of the best here.
Yeah. Speaking
of the best, let's start by naming them. We've got Burr, which is I believe a Templar Sparker. So this guy's I've played against this guy. He's a serious contender. Let's be real. He's not an easy matchup. Those sparks really hurt. He's also got some traps set up. Really cool stuff there. And he'll be playing against Spunk, and I believe this will be actually the first match we're going to watch. Spunk is using Cyclone. He's a ranger, so he's like your typical sword and board ranger, and using the Cyclone action, a bit of spectral throw. So he's going to have to try to weave in and out and try to get to brain amputation, which is Burr. And I'm told as well that Burr's got a pretty sick Molten Shell, so if I was Spunk, I would try to proc that thing before I go in there.
Yep. It's alright. Are we just going to jump in?
Yeah, I'm just going to give them the go.
Alright, they're sitting in limbo here in the arena. We've improved the quality of the stream and the PvP for you guys this time around. We're going to have real-time action here. Hopefully the quality is going to be much better, and we're going to be much more fast-paced. And like Green Dude said, we're going to be able to see every single match so you can follow your favorite players throughout the tournament.
Yep.
Alright, we got the countdown. Round 1.
Go ahead and boost up my mic a little bit. Chat's saying it's a bit low.
Alright.
So here we go with the first one. We've got brain amputation using his anime guardian. It's got the leer cast, the dying breath, so it gives him damage while he's alive. And he's also wearing the chest that reflects 40% melee damage, or is it 30%?
Oh, he is.
Right, so if Spunk goes in and does damage to the Bramblejack, yeah, he's going to take a lot of reflect damage.
Yeah, look at this. He's actually taking significant damage from himself.
Yeah, and we also saw there that brain amputation had the frenzy charges from the anime guardian dying and using these gloves, Shackled of the Wretched. So they provide, up to 7 or something frenzy charges.
Oh my god, did you see that Molten Shell? It brought him down to 20%.
It's actually possible, very possible as a Templar, to get up to 83% chance to ignite on that Molten Shell, including, of course, the Fire Pen gem, so a lot of damage.
Alright, we see Spunk taking advantage of the bottom, but decides to just move out of there. That's the one place in the arena people like to dominate. You get good view of your opponent, standing at the bottom, of course.
Yeah, we see the cold snap action there, trying to freeze him a little bit. Of course, Spunk is supposed to have the freeze immunity. Oh, he's going in, but brain amputation able to leap, or lightning warp away rather.
Oh, Spunk.
Man, that shotgun damage from Spark is crazy. So Spunk doesn't have a lot of time to kill him. He's got to do it very quickly. Otherwise, he's going to take significant damage like that.
Straight into the Molten Shell. Man, I want to see some Spectral throw there to just get that molten shell out of the way.
Yeah, I think there's no other way than to, you know, using your whirling blades and using your spectral throw to try to deal some damage and get the molten shell off, and then go in.
Spunk being very clever here, using rain of arrows to remove the traps. Doesn't want to accidentally step on one of those. Here we go, spectral throw.
Now, this is a very tough matchup for Spunk. It's not easy to approach a caster that can just pretty much
the lightning warp
keep his
in.
spells up. And Burr having no trouble at all there, because I think Spunk really ran out of his flasks after the first round. He already tried using all of them, so unfortunately for Spunk, ended very quickly.
But most of those matches were they were very, very quick. So I would have liked to see Spunk, you know, to use his time a little bit more wisely and choose his engagements, because we kind of saw him just run straight into his opponent.
Yeah, I you know, it's such a difficult matchup because you know, he's got the damage at range. You know, Spark is really cool because you can bounce it off of walls, so you can sort of shoot around the corners. And so while he's adding that sort of pressure there, he's you know, he's forcing Spunk to react, forcing Spunk to do something. But going into, you know, your opponent like that is just not an option, because you're gonna get shotgunned by the Spark, you're gonna get blasted by that molten shell. So you have to be you know, quick thinking. But you know, he's putting so much pressure, it makes it hard to think.
Burr, was he using Matu Tapuna to boost up his Anime Guardian?
Yeah, well, I don't think he's actually.
He had a skin on or something, so I couldn't tell.
Yeah, he might have used the skin. I think it's a popular one. And I don't think he would be using Matua Tapuna for the Anime Guardian, but I think he would be maybe putting it on a +1 if he needed to wear an item that's you know, quite a lot higher level requirement. You know, it's good you mentioned that, because Anime Guardians can actually wear gear that is higher level than 28 PvP. So sometimes people will, you know, stick it into a +1 or even a +2 helm or something like that to try and even empower it to try and get it to wear you know, higher level gear.
You can equip up to like level 40 weapons and stuff, right? And that's substantially more powerful than a 28 weapon. So the Anime Guardian can solo people in some cases.
Yeah, the summoner builds, which unfortunately we're not going to see in this tournament, but they're pretty powerful, and you can get them to have a lot of life, a lot of damage, to where they're so problematic that it's almost like you're 2v1ing, right? You have to deal with them just as seriously as another player.
Yeah, and we're gonna see Burr proceed further into the tournament, and we're gonna jump into Rorschach versus Quan, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, here we go. I sent them to go, and they're about to start. So for this, we're looking at Rorschach, which is a puncture trapper, and he's facing Quan, who's using a character that I don't remember seeing this season. I'm pretty sure he used to be sword and board, duelist or ranger all season long. And
for the
now
longest time.
Now he's using a vitality bow user. Like
Vitality and hatred.
Vitality. Yeah, very interesting.
Okay.
So it looks like he's using Ice Shot, which has been very, very powerful this season.
Oh, it's been terrible. It's been terrible. For me, at least. It's such a strong skill.
Oh, and it turns out he is sword and board. Decided to switch from ranger to
the
shadow,
mind games.
That's excellent. I'm guessing he's got a pretty good bow for the Ice Shot, and is able to deal enough damage from it to then jump in with sword and board and put a lot of pressure.
Rorschach cleverly using those smoke mines, being able to stack on the puncture, making it chase him.
Quan is just putting a lot of pressure, but as we're seeing here, Quan is spending a lot of flasks right now. I think he's using a little too much for round one.
Yeah.
You really have to conserve them.
Oh, did you see that?
Here,
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of puncture damage. Vitality, or rather the vulnerability, makes you take 40% extra dot damage.
Traps everywhere. Rorschach just wearing them down. Really good game plan here. If you can empty him out of pots, it's game, set, and match immediately.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because we keep seeing Rorschach on low life, and it keeps baiting Quan into finishing him off, but he keeps walking over traps using flask. I'm confident right now that Rorschach has more flask, definitely a flask advantage over Quan. We see some trigger gem action there, and there is a drop.
Clutch. Very close. Almost had it.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of smart of Quan to have a bow set up, because it is quite difficult to be playing a you know, ranger versus melee. sometimes, because those traps are very
Oh,
powerful.
there you go. There you see it. He didn't have anything he could do. No
Yeah,
responses, no pots.
Yeah, exactly. When you use up all your flasks, then what happens is you'll easily lose 1 or 2 rounds before you get more flasks.
Rorschach going on the offensive here. I don't know if he has any pots, so he probably shouldn't be doing this. He pops the curse immunity, and he can't move. He can't move. Yeah, still bleeding. Still bleeding.
Definitely interesting to see Rorschach being so offensive, you know, almost getting into his melee range.
Yeah, I love this playstyle.
Rorschach finally ending Quan's life there in the second round. And we've been seeing Rorschach using smoke mine back and forth, back and forth. The idea of the build is quite simple. You place traps and you run around and try to get your opponent to walk over them. And in the meantime, you're also spamming your arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And here, Quan deciding to rush to the bottom to make sure he gets that good perspective, that good ground there.
And why is he using a fire trap? What's the advantage there over just more puncture?
So the fire traps actually prevent you from trapping the ground, right? If there's a burning ground, you cannot place a trap on top of it.
There you go. Clever use of game mechanics. Oh man, Quan low HP.
And you saw right there when he was low HP, he decided to use a flask. I think he was hesitant to use it, decided to use it, and then instantly died. So sad waste there.
Sometimes you just gotta admit defeat.
Yeah, I think it would have been better for him to not use the flask, lose that round, and come back stronger on the next one.
All right, what can Quan do here to make up for the huge disadvantage and draw this out?
Yeah, so every time Quan goes in and successfully gets some heavy strikes off, I also see Rorschach using flasks. So, it's not impossible for him to go in and work him down as well. It's just so much harder. It requires him to use a lot of fire traps.
Yeah, and we're seeing him step on a lot of traps. He's walked. Yeah, see, Rorschach is just having his way with him, back and forth, allowing him to step on every single trap.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Quan using Whirling Blades a little bit more.
Quan just conceding here, it seems like.
Yeah, maybe a bit of desync or maybe a concede, but I'm guessing he's completely out of flask now.
Yeah.
So Rorschach taking this one, sending Quan to the losers.
GG.
Definitely a tough match. Yeah, absolutely. And it was interesting there because, there's a few mistakes I feel Quan didn't make there. Like, for example, Whirling Blades, what it allows you to do is very simple. When you Whirling Blades over a trap, you will proc the trap, but there's a good chance that the arrow actually misses your character. And I'm not speaking of, like, the dodge mechanic or evasion mechanic. I'm saying, like, literally the arrow will miss your character.
Projectile speed will not be fast enough to catch up with you.
Exactly. So whirling is almost like an extra, defense, because even if it does hit you, then it goes through evasion, then it goes through dodge, which I'm sure Quan has acrobatics. Mm-hmm. So Whirling Blades is really good, and sure, it does 30% less damage than it used to. It still does good damage. So, I'm a bit disappointed. Didn't see too much that. Also, his ice shot looked almost ineffective. Like, Rorschach must be somewhat tanky. He must have...
Whenever he went for the ice shot, he got the punctures in his face, and he had to back off every time.
Yeah, exactly. Rorschach played really, really well, though. The smoke mine action, there's not a single time we wouldn't see him smoke mine. And because Quan is playing a shadow, you have to imagine that he has no way of guaranteeing hits, right? He's using accuracy. He doesn't have resolute technique.
Yeah,
so
both shadows.
Right, exactly. So when you enter into a smoke mine, the cloud will blind you, and it makes your accuracy absolutely terrible.
Yeah, fighting inside inside smoke is not recommended. You get 75. Isn't it 75% less accuracy?
Yeah, something like that. It's incredible. And so he's kind of there, like, in the cloud, and he's got two options. It's like, do I leave the cloud and then potentially take more trap damage, or do I fight in it and barely hit him, right? It's not easy. That cloud, and you can link it to increase duration as well.
All right, I'm just getting set up here.
Yeah, we've got Embu.
We got Embu Zomg versus Scorpior. And are they not into a round, or are they not ready?
Oh, it seems it seems both of them are in Bloodlines. We're actually gonna have to create a new character real quick, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it seems like they didn't add that. It's okay, we can just create a quick character.
That is.
So that's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a problem we didn't foresee. It seems like challenging someone cross league doesn't work yet, or spectating rather as well. So that's quite unfortunate. Not a problem. I think we can even spectate from the beach, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be.
Fingers crossed. It works. Hallelujah!
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go.
All right, we're good to go. Embu, this is a good friend of mine, so a little bit of bias there, but I think Scorpio is going to give him a tough fight.
Yeah, both of them are actually in our guild, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this will be kind of like a grudge match for them because
This is the fight of the
lot.
demigods. So all this Frenchy charges versus Lair of the Student of Lapis. Love the name.
Yeah, Scorpio playing a very similar build to Lapis. They've been rocking the dagger one-shot mechanic sort of molten shell. So basically, or not molten shell, rather molten strike. What you can do is, because the molten strike gives you projectiles, and those projectiles can have point blank on them, increasing their damage by a more multiplier.
Damn. So one of the most annoying builds this league has been the Firestorm, and the Firestorm, you wouldn't think it, but if you put stun on that thing, it's going to perma stun you, and you're just going to be. You look at this, the stun with the temp chains, the stuns are longer and longer, and you can't move. You got to pop some kind of stun recovery, or just get out.
Yeah. So if we see Lair manage to get close to Embu, okay, we're gonna see him almost one-shot him. That's his build. His build is like, okay, you might be able to kill me, but I'll kill you for sure. So he's just looking for a way to get in there, and it's, you know, Embu's not making it easy by spamming that Firestorm. But remember, he is getting the stuns off. He's got a stun belt. He's got the stun gem. It's a really stun build. There it goes.
There he goes.
We're gonna see Scorpio pretty much landing the kill here, I think.
Oh, the flickers didn't do it all the way. Oh, no Firestorms up. Oh, he's getting some good RNG with the fireballs, but still, Embu takes this away from him. So Embu is the Templar, just for your guys' information, and that was Scorpio taking the loss.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised because okay, so first of all, there seems to be a mistake here on the part of Scorpio. We saw him go in. He had presumably the 3 frenzy charges from his Guardian, right? And so what frenzy charges allows you to do is bypass the cooldown on Flicker Strike,
Which is like 4 seconds.
Exactly. And we saw him holding it down and, you know, casting every charge, but Flicker does 30% less damage. It's not his strongest ability. His strongest ability is that Molten Strike. So what I would have liked him to see is just Flicker once, then use your Molten Strike and try to one-shot him instead of continuing to Flicker.
Yeah, because Embu wasn't really moving that much, so he would have been able to switch over to a more damage-dealing ability.
Right, because if you're dealing less damage to him, he has more time to stack Firestorms on top of himself. So, you know, I'm quite disappointed to not see him using any Molten Strike there. But, you know, it was the 4th round. Maybe he was out of Flask, and it was just a Hail Mary, you know. So next match, it seems like we're going to have Lapis versus Sacro. Lapis is pretty much the same build as Scorpio that we just saw here, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if you're familiar with Sacro's build. I personally haven't seen him.
No. I'm trying to join the game. This is Sacro, right?
Sacro, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember his build, but pretty happy to see that you know, a new face is there. I personally
Sacro is Firestorm, I believe, and Lapis is I see him using a Quill Rain, so I'm guessing he's some kind of melee build. He's just using the Quill Rain for some kind of trap destroying action.
Yeah, so I think without further ado, we're going to start this match and just see what they're like. So
very nice.
Yeah, very interesting to see.
We don't know all the players by hand, but after just a few seconds, you can get a lot of information.
Yeah, you know, I might have fought him in the PvP season, but I just don't recall it. But
so we see here Lapis dagger and board. Oh, love seeing that new Flicker Strike. MTX.
So this is actually a repeat from pretty much last game, right? We're gonna see a Firestormer trying to perma-stun the one-shot dagger.
Yep.
And the one-shot dagger refusing to wear Chayula is gonna try to get in and score some heavy damage.
Oh, I think Lapis is a little bit decent here. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's being very clever, using his Quill Rain to get up some fancy charges, just like in the last fight, getting those, being able to circumvent that cooldown. Goes in, and I think he's actually trying to utilize his... Oh, no, he's just going for the all-out flicker strikes.
Yeah, it's interesting. Same problem I feel as Scorpio is he's using all those flicker strikes, you know, dealing a bit less damage there, 30% less. It's significant. I really hope to see him do a single flicker and maybe a molten strike. That'd be nice. And here we're seeing Sacro at half-life refusing to pot because it's round 1. He wants to conserve it. He might just let himself die there. No, using a pot there, Quicksilver. Not a good idea to use it. If you're not going to pot your health, then you shouldn't pot your Quicksilver. So remember, Sacro here is trying to get the permastun. I'm not sure if Lapis is using Chayula. Oftentimes these guys are...
They just go YOLO, just count on their utility movement abilities, and just get out of there fast. Because I mean, Firestorm is pretty slow, right? It takes quite a while to cast it, and once you've committed to a place, it allows Lapis to just loop around and go somewhere else. Unless it's standing in the middle of it.
Exactly. And remember, Firestormers oftentimes will use increased duration on it, so even though it's slow to start, it gets...
No Firestorms up.
Unbelievable. I think the only thing he had up was his Molten Shell, but once it's popped, you know, you keep going. And Lapis can even use some kind of life gain on hit mechanism to try to maybe he has a 6-link and a life gain on hit to try to refill his HP after he goes in, because the Molten Shell should not one-shot him. He's got enough life.
This is what I like to see. I want to see Sacro keeping those Firestorms up as long as he can. But is the mana cost an issue here? Is he not able to permacast, or?
No.
You play this yourself.
I play this build myself, and it's not a problem. You sustain it quite perfectly.
There you go. Yeah, just keep him up. Lapis a little bit of desync, but wow, that flicker does a lot of damage. Surprised after getting nerfed and still being able to finish off a player purely on flicker strikes. Amazing.
Yeah, and it's you know, I really have this feeling that Lapis is using Chayula. I don't recall seeing him being permastun.
No.
It's a tough decision because when you look at Chayula, it reduces your life and it gives you basically nothing else. You can wear like a corrupted one, so you gain a little bit more from it, but it's a tough decision because if you're lowering your health, you might die faster, and a build like Glass Cannon like Lapis probably doesn't want to lose any more health, and you're also giving up crit, you're also giving up fizz damage, and Elrion's prefix as well, reducing the mana cost of your ability. So you know, it's really tough to give up, you know, your amulet slot for a Chayula.
Yeah. So we saw two very similar fights there. One time it went to the Firestorm, and this time it went to the melee. And I think he played it perfectly, choosing his engagements well, and well, got 4 rounds in a row.
Yeah,
GG.
And it's funny because we saw like 2 mirror matches back to back, and the winner of both of those were different.
One-sided,
right?
and they were both one-sided.
Yeah, like the Firestormer took it in the first one, and then the other one, the Dagger. So I'm actually excited to see if we're going to meet both of them. You know, the winner of the Firestormer winner and the Dagger.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, because Embu went into round 6, and we're going to have the winner of this match go face against Embu, which is going to be Lapis, of course.
Yeah, so right now we're joining Spunk and Quan in the losers bracket. So we will get this match underway. And this should be exciting. I'm, you know, Spunk is a guildmate. I'm, you know, a bit of bias there, but Quan is like a top player. No, but seriously, Quan is a top player. He's been playing since the very beginning. I remember him, you know, all the way back since a year ago. I think he was already PvPing. And Quan at the beginning of the season, the first season and the second season, I actually thought he could be a contender for winning the tournament. So I'm actually surprised to see him changing his build completely, considering how effective it was all season. But hey, it's not too late for him to come back through losers and go back to finals.
All right, I'm ready. Oh, we already started, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were.
No, I had to switch the characters, but we're good. We're in. We're in. Got Spunk here versus Quan.
Yeah, and Spunk took the first round, and man, both of them using so much flask. It's really going to be interesting to see, you know, round 3, round 4. Yeah. And Spunk trying to break traps, applying his curse using his swap. He also uses it to move around, using mirror arrow and blink arrow.
And both of these players probably... Oh, Smoke Mine, and we have Quan running into Spunks. But, yeah, we probably have both players with Curse on hit gloves, so... I mean, it's gonna be important to have your Curse immunity flasks for every single engagement that ends up being, you know, fully committed to. So the winner is probably gonna be the guy with Curse immunity flask if his opponent runs out.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of running out, I think Spunk used a lot more this round.
Yeah, you see both players here with curses on.
He kind of has to take this round in order to get back his flasks, otherwise he's in deep trouble. And
so
see, he's refusing to pot there.
We saw Quan actually using his curse immunity without being in an engagement.
Yeah. And you know, once you see that your health isn't, because I mean, it's hard to get an enormous amount of regen, so running around in circles doesn't really regen you fast enough. So you know, Spunk unable to.
Especially as a ranger, if you're a marauder or maybe even duelist, you might have some regen, but as a ranger, yeah, it's not gonna happen unless you have vitality running.
Yeah, I remember my ranger had 0 regen exactly. So if you know, if you don't use a pot, then you're pretty much screwed.
Oh, a little bit of mind games here. Who's gonna engage who? Oh no!
Spawn getting bear trapped.
No!
Quan with the ninja bear trap there, taking advantage of him. Spunk unable to pot, of course, either because he had none or because he decided just to concede that round. So it's actually a pretty tight game, our first very tight game, and I reckon that as we get closer to the finals, we're going to see more and more of these tight matches. So interesting there. Spunk is on low life. If he had a panic there, he would have used it, because it's important to use your panic when you're on low life, as it gives you the most amount of regen. And so, you know, the fact that he was on low life there for a long time, not potting, suggests that he has no pots. So, as you can see, he's trying to regen there.
He's trying to pull it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Quan with full HP, you know, their damage must be quite similar. Their weapons, I imagine, are you know, top tier, both of them. So when they do the same kind of damage, basically it comes down to your health value at the beginning and your potting through the cycloning.
Alright, so we're seeing a lot of traps being laid down here. I believe those are multi-trap bear traps. I mean, it's really nice to use because they're trying to play mind games here, moving back and forth. If you catch him in a bear trap, you can engage him where he doesn't have a smoke mine. Hopefully, when it's at least not in line of sight. So I would like to see Spunk use some more bear traps if he's got them. Oh.
Yeah, and we're seeing him use Spectral Throw, but it really does nothing because his Spectral Throw, you know, it's a skill that hits multiple times but doesn't do too much damage. Oh, and then Quan going in, getting that bear trap again. Those bear trap really, yeah, really working out for Quan, getting him the win and knocking Spunk out of the tournament.
GG, both players.
Yeah, but, and as I was saying there, Spectral is a kind of thing where it hits multiple times, but for less damage, right? It's more of a something that works you down. But as we saw there, Quan is using a shield and using Tempest Shield, and you know, whether he's a Marauder or a Duelist, it can also get access to shield nodes that also increase your damage, your melee damage.
Oh yeah.
So very efficient nodes, right? You're getting that block chance, you're getting that damage. And so what happens is he gets so much block that his trigger gems are proccing a lot. So when Spunk uses his Spectral, he's just firing all those trigger gems, dealing
you mean the counter gems
back to him. Right, exactly.
Like Vengeance, Reckoning.
Exactly. All those counter gems.
Yeah.
And so all he's doing really with the Spectral Throw is dealing little damage that he can almost out regen and taking back a ton of trigger gem damage. So
and then it comes in with the Cyclone, which hits really, really fast.
Yeah, so you know, I think Spunk there should not have used that. And honestly, we saw also Spunk using Cyclone, which again is similar to Spectral in that sense. If you compare Cyclone and Heavy Strike is a hard-hitting, you know, slower attack,
yeah,
which is perfect against block users, whereas Cyclone will oftentimes, you know, trigger the block gems and the Tempest Shield, taking a lot of damage to himself. So it actually makes him have to pot harder through the cycloning. So definitely not. I don't know. I feel like Spunk, a little bit of a misplay there. He should have. I'm certain he has a Heavy Strike gem available.
Oh,
he could
definitely
have swapped it. Yeah.
But in the heat of the moment, It's hard to make quick calls like that, but these players are allowed to switch gear during the matches, right? They probably have their inventory filled up with different types of utility uniques and rares that they can use for different matchups.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're about to jump into Sacro versus Scorpio, or Scorpior, or however he prefers it. And so again, another losers final, or losers bracket rather.
And this is going to be the match we were talking about. This is going to be Embu versus Sacro, and it's Firestorm versus Dagger, right? Yes.
Yeah. So, well, this is the matchup that we wanted to see, but on loser side, right? Not the guys who came up on top as the winners. So that would have been Embu versus Lapis. This is the losers version of that, which is Sacro versus Scorpio. So interesting to see who's going to come up on top.
They both lost to their opponent's build previously, and they're gonna match up. Man, this is like a nightmare for them. They're gonna match up against the same build once more in losers bracket, and the winner gets another chance, and the loser has to go home.
Yep. So this is it. You know, fighting for their tournament life essentially. We've got the frenzy charges already up on Sacro. I think he's gonna use that multi-flicker action again. Well, doing actually a lot more damage to Sacro than he was doing to Embu at the back in the other match. So it seems like the flicker strat, it works here. He doesn't have to use his Molten Strike.
I feel like he's being clever now and getting those frenzy charges up and choosing his engagements, not running into and through the Firestorms like we saw previously. See here, he's evading them very well.
Yeah, and getting that permastun there, Scorpio just refusing to wear Chiyula, and he's getting 10 chains from Sacro using the Asenath Gentle Touch.
Oh dear God.
Man, that damage is the only reason he made it out there, because if he can get that flicker in, it's almost a guaranteed kill. So Sacro has to be playing more defensive. I'd like to see Sacro putting some traps all around. I think he's only got one set of bear traps. I personally remember I used during the season Flame Surge traps because Firestorm rolls so many, it rolls per fireball, so it has a very high chance to ignite.
Oh, that looked like it could be anyone's match, but through some quick potting there, Sacro fell.
Yeah, and I also don't recall seeing Sacro using Molten Shell a lot, or if at all. Molten Shell is like one of the biggest anti-melee skill you can have. So, like, see right now, he should have a Molten Shell on him right now with increased duration and fire
constantly.
Absolutely. So that's a big, difference between Embu and Sacro. And Lair of the Student of Lapis, having no trouble at all with Sacro's build. Like I said, I think Sacro's definitely got a few mistakes in there, notably the Molten Shell, the lack of traps as well. I don't think multi-trap is also necessary. It increases the bear trap duration a lot more if you don't have it.
Yeah, Scorpio played that really, really well. He chose his engagements perfectly.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing Scorpio continuing on, and he'll be fighting, I believe, the winner of... Oh, okay, I see. The bracket is a little bit late. So I think right now we're actually going to jump into a winner's bracket, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this is Rorschach versus Burr.
Yeah, so there you go. We're back to winner's bracket, and the tree will update for the losers, and we'll come back to that one. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Predictions for this one? Puncture Trap versus Sparker.
I really liked seeing that spark damage with the Molten Shell. But the Puncture Trap being ranged, I think might have the advantage here because Burr really wants to get close, really close.
Yeah, he wants.
And if there's anything that a Puncture character doesn't want, it's to get into that melee range. So he's gonna work against his opponent doing that, staying away all the time.
If Rorschach can stay on the edge of his, or keep Brain Amputation, who's Burr, at the edge of his screen at all times, that's perfect. Oh, and there we see the Lightning Warp. Yeah, we're gonna see Brain Amp putting a lot of pressure.
Going
in with that Lightning Warp. Remember, the Lightning Warp actually does damage too. He has it leveled. Wow, those sparks are really bouncing in the corner. They can bounce back and hit a second time in one spark.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad at range, but obviously it shines in melee.
Man, Burr using every single ability at his disposal. He's using Flicker, he's using Lightning Warp. I'm sure he's got a bow swap too, where he can use his Mirror Arrow just to get closer to his opponent.
Yeah, and one thing that's interesting, you'll see Rorschach has EE on his feet. You can see the debuff there. It's Elemental Equilibrium, and basically it has a downside in PvE because if you spam an ability, you're just reinforcing the resist of that monster. But in PvP, it's assumed that the enemy has max resist already, so you don't get the negative side of giving them resist, but you do get the positive side of removing their other resists. So every time...
Man, this is the craziest fight ever! It's back and forth, back and forth. These opponents...
We're gonna see... we're gonna see his lightning spells proccing EE and not hurting them, like, removing the resist against himself, and then his molten shell is gonna deal absolutely crazy damage because of EE.
And it seemed like Burr decided to not use his pots, or because the match lasted so long, maybe he doesn't have any pots anymore. But that was a really, really great round. Both players back and forth, back and forth. I had no idea who was gonna win that. But Burr playing really well here, using his Lightning Warp and his other utility skills not to move his character too much, because then Puncture will do way more damage.
Both players using a flash right there. Yeah, you have to imagine that both are low. Oh, then Rorschach gets the kill there. Brainam trying to leap or Lightning Warp away rather. Yeah, it's very interesting to see because these guys like can't sort of one-shot themselves, right? They kind of work at each other.
Right.
And that first round is important because when you commit those flasks, you have to come out on top with the round. And both of them committed so much flask usage that winning that first round is a huge momentum.
Oh, he got Burr engaging, flickering, lightning warping, not being able to do any damage though. The sparks can be a little bit random. It can work in your favor or against you. And he wasn't able to do much damage there.
Yeah, and Rorschach using the Blink Arrow ability, which has a cooldown of about 4 seconds, whereas Brainamp's Lightning Warp has none. So that's why we're seeing Brainamp being able to put a lot more pressure. Rorschach is then dependent on stuff like Smoke Mine and even Mirror Arrow to try to confuse the opponent.
Oh, there you see the sparks flying off, and all of a sudden just taking half its HP out of nowhere. It would seem, but that's just the nature of Spark. They go where they please. Oh, nice puncture there, and Burr doesn't have any flasks to deal with it.
Yeah, Brainamp was very successful in blitz events where your flasks refill every round. So he was able to put a lot of pressure and sort of pot through any damage that you put his way. But here in a Swiss style event, or a best of 7 rather, you can really work his flask down with puncture, like with that vulnerability puncture. It's crazy because not only do you have to pot through the degen, but you also have to pot the curse.
Burr trying to use this environment, but Rorschach won't have it. Just keeps running away. And as you can tell, he doesn't have any flasks left. You saw in the first round, it was anyone's match at that point. But then once Rorschach got the upper hand by taking the first win, and of course if you kill your opponent, you have a slight flask advantage too. He was able to finish out the entire set without a single loss.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to switch over to the other character because we're going to see Embu versus Lapis, two Bloodlines player. Again, the match that we really wanted to see here, let's be honest.
Oh, nice.
I hope chat is excited because this is the Firestorm versus Dagger. We've seen both of them win against that same matchup, but now it's like two different players, so two very skilled players playing those same builds. It's going to be really interesting.
Alright, let's do this. So here we go. We got the blue player Lapis versus the red player Embusong. And what is he wearing? What's that? Oh, that must be some kind of offhand weapon.
Round 1.
Or is that a MTX or something that works on scepters?
That could be Storm Cloud. It has a built-in sort of MTX look.
Oh, no, I meant Embu, but no matter.
Oh, okay.
No matter. Lapis just getting in there and finishing off Embu really, really fast with those flickers.
Yeah, Lapis gaining those flash charges and then jumping in, so Embu's got to be really careful of that.
Oh no, Miramaro straight into the Firestorm. Yep.
Stacking those Firestorms.
No Chayula.
Round 3.
That's the thing is Firestorm is very slow, very slow to begin. But if you're in it, and with all the increased duration and the fact that you're stacking more and more of them on top through having a lot of cast speed, once you're in there, you're pretty much a dead man if you don't have
Lapis YOLOing through the Firestorm. Did you see that Molten Strike damage? That was, I think I counted two strikes, and he was dead.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was saying. We don't want to see triple, quadruple flicker action. We want to see the Molten Strike action. That's the damage.
I want to see if Lapis is actually using Diamond Flask. You see them using that all the time in Blitz. But it might be a little bit too risky in this matchup.
Yeah, it doesn't refill fast enough. It's perfect for Blitz, though. And here we see Lapis taking Embu down again.
Dear
Crazy,
God.
crazy damage.
Alright, Embu. Come on, man. You can do this. Get those Firestorms up. Don't let them engage.
Oh, and smoke mining out of that stun. Very good job there. Still not sure why he refuses to wear...
No Firestorms on himself. Allows... Oh, there you go.
Oh, and there's the Embu. Yeah. I think Embu also, I noticed there, was using cast one stunned Molten Shell rather than a self-cast Molten Shell, if I'm not mistaken. Which is probably very good because every time you'll get stunned, you'll just pop a new one. And the hit that stuns you will proc it. So it'll stay up almost all the time.
Oh, Lapis here in a bit of a pickle.
He's definitely got the frenzy charges, so he could make something happen. He's back up to full health. He has to go in before he starts stacking more Firestorms on top of him.
Yeah, I think we're going to see an engagement very soon here. Mirror Arrow into Flicker. There we go.
There it is. Molten Shell wasn't enough. Destruction.
Yeah, Embu being very good at controlling like space in the arena and refusing to allow his opponent to walk towards him. But Lapis just uses Mirror Arrow to jump across that little gap down below and took no damage from the Firestorms. And of course, Embu didn't have anything on top of him.
Yeah, you know, it was an interesting match. It was a bit kind of close, but you know, I think the main problem and the reason why near the end, you know, Lapis sort of took it rather easily is because Lapis isn't flash dependent, right? Once he goes in, he kills you. That's it. He's
either
not
kills you or
damage.
It's over, like or he dies himself.
He doesn't have to sort of pot through a lot of damage because either he goes in and kills you or he screws up and should let himself die and try again next round. So, yeah, very interesting there.
But it was cool to see that at least Embu got 2 rounds there, so it was kind of close. And these were arguably the best Firestormer and the best Stagger we've seen so far in the tournament.
Yep. So now we're gonna log back into the tournament one. We're going. Let's see here. This is next match is gonna be Scorpio versus Burr.
All right.
So yeah,
losers
Burr
bracket.
Basically, yeah, exactly. Burr got sent to losers, so now he's got to face Scorpio, the dagger, and Burr, of course, the sparker. So let's jump into that one.
Let's go. Let's go. So we got, let's see, Brain Amputation in the blue. And was it Scorpio? It's got a different name. It's kind of confusing.
Yes, Scorpio
yeah.
or whatever.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
In red here.
So again, we're seeing like a one-shot dagger sort of build versus kind of a one-shot sparker essentially, right? If he gets the shotgun right.
Yeah, but it's been kind of unreliable in the last match.
That's true. Yeah.
Even if he got point-blank range, it did no damage.
Correct. Yeah. It's actually interesting. Did you see there? Scorpio had a power charge.
Power charge?
Yes, I definitely saw a power charge there. Don't know if it was from like a Dodries or a power charge on crit from
well,
this,
I've seen
attack.
I've seen some of the Wanderers actually use Dodris Elixir just to get that extra bit of crit chance, and wow, the Sparks working to his advantage there in that tight corridor. Good engagement spot.
Like I don't want to see Dodries in best of 7. I think it, you know, in Blitz it's fine.
Yeah,
in Blitz it's fine.
It's a little bit YOLO.
Scorpio, don't do this to me. No, I'd like to hope that he was using power charge on crit on his frenzy.
That might be the case, yeah.
Just you know, as a off chance that he gets one.
Yeah, and the Molten Shell is up here. Oh! The Molten Shell brings him to half, and then the Spark finishes him off. But he dies himself in the end. But it was actually not a draw. Sometimes you can get a draw if it's on the same time.
Yeah, if it's so close that the server is unable to, 100%
Distinguish
determine
them,
what came
yeah.
first. Yeah, but in this case, no. The first player that died is the one that loses that round.
Man, I love that he's able to keep that molten shell up every single round, routinely.
Yeah, we're seeing kind of what I expected is it's one shot versus one shot essentially, right? Because if Scorpio comes in, attacks,
Which he has to get in there.
He has to. Yeah, a spectral throw won't cut it. Trapping won't cut it either. So he has to go in. He does fizz damage, right? So he procs the molten shell and takes an LMP spark to the face. If that's not a one shot, then I don't know. He's got about what does he have? Maybe 1,000 life.
Yeah.
If he's wearing
If
a
at
Chiyula,
that.
if not maybe 1,200 at most. So that molten shell, huge fire penetration. Templars also get access to that circle that deals penetration, celestial something, I believe it's called.
Punishment.
So little,
right.
yeah, and even though it's only 2%, that's 2% more damage essentially.
Yeah. All right.
So next one we're gonna have back into losers bracket. We're gonna have Embu the Firestormer versus Quan the Shadow Sword and Board / Ice Shot ish.
Oh, right.
So first time we're gonna see that matchup. Let's join into the arena and get that match started.
So I think this is going to be better for Embu because he's going to have a little bit more time to set up and control his opponent. It's not going to be as fast paced as the other dagger characters.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to be rushing that hard.
Yeah, exactly.
With tons of damage. It's going to be a lot of damage coming from Quan, but not at the same level as the dagger characters, I think.
Yeah. So you're in the match right now. You relog.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right, it started. Yeah, so very interesting to see. I'm curious to see how Quan is going to be able to get in there. I think Quan uses Chiyula, so the Firestorm will do damage, but it won't stun. I believe.
Yeah.
We're about to see here. Oh, and the LMP Fireball Trap's doing a lot of damage.
Quan actually being a shadow. You see like crit sword or something?
Yeah, he might have respected crit sword. That's a good point because all season he was ranger or duelist or something. Yeah. So definitely non-crit then.
Oh, Embu! Wow.
His damage is incredible for.
Do you think he has
sword.
Spell block? Because maybe it was the RNG of the fireballs, but Quan didn't take any damage there.
Yeah, I don't know, because if he uses a Stone of Laswar corrupted with 4% spell block, then he loses the Chiyula.
Right.
And so it's and I can see he's not getting stunned. So I have a feeling he's definitely wearing a Chiyula.
Yeah,
Maybe
he's not getting stunned.
+1 max resist Chiyula would definitely help. Could be using that as well.
Oh man, he's taking none of the damage from the Firestorm. It's weird to look at. It's almost like he's in God mode, Quan mode.
Remember, the Firestorm deals very little damage per ball, so it's really about stacking them on top. But he's so fast; he's really moving in and out with.
Oh, I think I saw a stun actually. I'm pretty sure I saw a stun.
Maybe he has actually so much health that the stun is less likely to proc.
Right? Yeah, he's definitely getting stunned.
On low life. That was crazy. Quan was just about to die.
That was close.
And, manages to get him, and unfortunately for Embu, that's it for him in this tournament.
Embu! No! So that's another Firestormer going into the losers bracket. Did we wait, that was losers bracket, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's out. He's out.
So now we're basically gonna go back into winners, and we're gonna take a look at the Bloodlines players, Rorschach and Lapis. So let's go ahead. We can keep the same character and go right into the match.
We still have Burr though, the last hope of the Firestormers. He's still with us in the losers bracket.
So here we go. Rorschach is the Puncture Trapper versus Lapis the Dagger. And there we go. Ghost signal is started. Let's see what happens. It's kind of that eternal melee struggle here. Melee versus puncture. Rorschach, using smoke mine, using blink arrow, trying to do everything he can to keep melee off of him. Meanwhile, dropping traps here and there, and trying to get him to work down his HP using the puncture.
All right, let's do it. Let's go. We got Lapis in the blue, and we have Rorschach in the red.
Here we go.
Staring each other down. It's gonna
Got,
be
both
semifinals.
Both of them kind of rushing towards the bottom. It's such a good perspective down there with the camera angle.
Oh, I like this engage.
Amazing damage there, but he's using Flicker there. No, I didn't see too many Molten Strikes. Not doing enough damage. Rorschach's surprisingly tanky.
Yeah.
For a bow user.
And Lapis, I mean, he didn't take a lot of damage from that Flicker. It almost seemed like he was wearing maybe Rare Guard and being able to block some of that.
Yeah, it could be as well. Because, I mean, he was really, really tanky there. His damage is incredible. When he gets that tornado shot action, and really, you know, tornado shot allows you to hit with every projectile if you pierce
Shotgun.
Yeah. Oh, and Lap is putting a lot of pressure there. Still has the frenzy charges up.
Yeah, it chooses to rely mostly on the Flicker there. Get some Moltens in. One more hit here, and it's bye-bye Rorschach.
But we're seeing Rorschach avoid the projectiles of Molten Strike. It's a really slow attack when you think about it. The projectiles are flying in the air. Gives you plenty of time to walk away.
Both of the opponents here staring each other down.
That mind game with this, you know, the blink arrow, mirror arrow,
Confusion.
the confusion in the cloud, and you know, it's really hectic for Lapis.
Ooh, that was a dream encounter for Lapis.
Yeah, see what happened there is there was no confusion because Rorschach sort of might have been desync or something, but messed up his blink arrow. So both the mirror copy and his self were on top of each other, allowing Lapis to get the AoE attack on.
Easy AoE.
Yeah.
Alright, Lapis playing aggressive here. Chooses to remove that puncture. He's got double curse on himself, vulnerability and temp chains, but still going ham. Oh,
yeah,
nice
no
smoke
time to
mine.
pot that.
Beautiful.
Wow, and using blink arrow right on top of him, getting the Molten Strike off it. Rorschach is so good at avoiding those projectiles. Man, this is a really, really close match right now. You know, Rorschach doing everything he can to avoid the projectiles because they'll likely one-shot or two-shot him.
Oh, he puts the mirror arrow on top of himself. Probably, I mean, it's probably to get the flickers to deal more damage away from himself, but at least put it a little bit further away from yourself so you can't just go straight into Molten Strike after flickering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to see Lapis maybe using a Static Strike or something. In PvP, it does do like 5% less damage than Molten Strike, but it's instant. You're not going to get those flying projectiles that keep missing Rorschach.
Yeah.
But in the end, did you see that he was killing him with the bow? That's incredible. His bow must be insane because I'm guessing that his passives all work in favor of the the crit dagger.
Right.
So it's crazy that he would be able to get that last kill with the bow.
I actually thought this was going to go in favor of Lapis, to be honest. His damage is unreal, and he's been very good at choosing his engagements and getting his opponent off guard. You saw that in 2 of the rounds here, but Rorschach playing really well.
Yeah. All right, so that was winners, though. So Lapis is being sent down to losers, so he's not over yet. We're going to see him a bit later. Now we're going to watch Quan and Burr playing in losers. So this is it. This is their tournament life, and we're going to see who comes out on top. This will be a sword and board versus the Sparker. So yeah, let's relog back to the tournament. Do you have any prediction? Do you think Sparker is going to come out on top, or the Shadow sword and board?
I think, well, Burr? It's Quan versus Burr.
Sparker. Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought he was the Firestormer. My apologies. Okay. I definitely think Burr has the advantage, as we've seen in previous rounds here, with the Molten Shell and the point blank. Quan is going to have a pretty hard time. But if he's able to get that Molten Shell off him, and then engage, he might take this one away.
Yep.
But did you see if he's self-casting that Molten Shell? Because it's kind of weird. He's having that Molten Shell up in every single engagement. So you would think he would self-cast it.
Well, that's the thing is that build actually has a lot of room for gems because your Firestorm is all sitting in your chest, and then you have 2 auras sitting in your shield, allowing you to have 3 or even 4 setups for your cast when stunned. So you might as well have them, and you can even put them in a +1 corrupted item like boots.
He definitely has it on cast when stunned. I can tell.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think he has both. He can make it self-cast, or he can make it stun. In this matchup, as you can see here,
this is a good engagement spot for Burr. The flying projectiles bouncing back and forth. doing incredible damage to Quan.
And it, it seems like Quan has maybe multi-strike on his Molten Strike, which means that once he starts attacking, if Burr is gone, he's still in that animation. And with Temp Chains, he's in that animation for a long, long time.
Much longer.
And we saw LMP Freeze Pulse there come off of the Cast 1 stun and freezing Quan for a few seconds. I don't know if you spotted that, but that means that Quan doesn't, isn't wearing Dream Frag, isn't wearing Wanderlust. Refusing to wear those.
Oh, where are you going, Quan? What are you doing? That's like, well, he was actually able to push Brain out of that. Good corner.
Wow, that was so close. And Quan was obviously nervous he was going to die there. It looked like anyone could die, and so he potted, but unfortunately, he potted just after Burr died, so a bit of a wasted flash there. We're going to see, there's the Molten Strike. Did you see he self-casted it there? So presumably he has a self-cast version and a Cast 1 stun version, so that he can keep it on all the time, no matter what.
Yeah, the Molten Shell, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and see, he there he goes. He puts it up again.
So that's a little bit stronger, isn't it? So
yeah, that version I'd expect would be a bit stronger. You do lose a fourth link with Cast 1 stun, but you can otherwise use like Chance to Ignite or anything else.
Oh, the Bear of the Guardian. But the Guardian here going in for some damage. Unable to hit Quan, unfortunately.
Yeah, the anime Guardians are have kind of a silly AI. They're very easy to bait towards you, and you kind of don't want to follow your Guardian's AI because he's pretty silly.
Yeah,
so
straight line.
Kind of easy to bait and die and kill at it.
Oh, trading punches
wow, the
here.
Molten Shell there. Yeah, Molten Shell ending his life there, proccing from the stun and proccing the Molten Shell. So as he's running away, getting the kill, pretty powerful Cast 1 stun stuff. Oh, there's the freeze.
Yeah.
Combo. Yep, reminds me of Fight Guard back in the day, doing the Wombo combo.
Yeah, he's realized that he doesn't have any Chayula and should take advantage of that. Oh, self-cast Molten Shell. There's going to be a good engagement for Burr.
See, he's not. Yeah, he's refusing to proc the
Molten Shell
from a distance.
The Molten Strike, of course, doesn't do pure physical damage, so the Molten Shell didn't even go off.
That's true. Yeah, he doesn't. He's actually not dealing enough phys damage to proc it sometimes.
All right, Quan in a really good spot here. Hopefully he has some pots. He only needs one more round here to finish it off, trying to destroy those traps.
Yeah, and you see there, Brain Amp is putting a trap, in front of him, but also always on top of himself, so that if he gets flickered, the trap will pop. He's still got the Anime Guardian alive, keeping it close to him. Again, you don't want to focus too hard on your Anime Guardian, but if it's beside you, it's fantastic.
Bird's doing really well here, trying to arc, removing traps, so Quan doesn't get a favorable engagement, and spamming a little bit of sparks here and there. I mean, that could be potential extra damage.
Yep. And a big advantage that Brain Amp has is that he has Curse on hit, so when he's spamming projectiles like that, he has a chance of cursing him.
Temp Chains.
Yeah. And every time Quan delays the match, it gives Brain Amp time for his Cold Snap to come off cooldown. And we know that Quan doesn't have freeze immunity, so he might just get trapped by the Cold Snap if Brain Amp lands one.
One good Cold Snap. Oh, here, wow, Brain Amp going offensively with the Flicker and the Lightning Warps, chasing down Quan. But Quan, he has the lead. It's 16 seconds left. We might see him drawing out this round for a draw.
Yeah. I have a feeling that
the pots are low.
Isn't comfortable. Yeah, he's not comfortable with the amount of pots he has.
Nice freeze engagement.
5 seconds left. On the chasing, Quan is just spamming the projectiles there in case Brain Amp flickers him again.
All right, that's a draw. It's not over.
Yeah, I think that was a good play though by Quan, because Quan has the lead and he's not comfortable with his flask, and he needs them as a melee to get into the enemy and survive the Molten Shell and all that. So
and this is a much smaller arena. He's not going to be able to do the same thing once again to win this round through a draw, but we might see Burr here draw it out though with a win.
Players using a lot of pots here. I think they're down to the last one. Let's be real. Ooh. And Quan coming out on top there. I mean, I must have saw Quan using 2, maybe 3 pots there on that last encounter. So I think this was it. Like, Quan was going all out, and if Brain Amp would have taken that round, it would have been a tough last round for Quan.
Yeah.
Very good game there. That was incredible to watch. Unfortunately for him, he's getting knocked out of the tournament. That was losers bracket. and they're coming back to winners. We're gonna see that finals coming up very shortly.
So we got Quan versus Lapis first, right? And then we're gonna have the winner of that round fight against Rorschach for the finals of the EU Tournament Bloodlines Invitational.
Yeah, exactly. So we should be able to see Quan fighting a Lapis for a spot in the finals. Yep. And you know, they're getting the match set up anytime now. I think they're almost ready. Yep.
Don't
Lapis
stop.
and Quan are ready.
Don't start without me. All right. Wait, what? You're
So
now.
you have to log out. Yep.
Oh, they're not in the arena again yet.
They're bloodlines. Yet.
I am queued. So, any predictions for this round?
I think Lapis does enough damage that he can penetrate sort of Quan's tankiness.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to say Lapis can take it. But I don't know, man. Quan's got a lot of block and a lot of trigger gems.
He's showing that he's playing very smart. Like we saw in the previous round, he was saving up his pots, just delaying one full round so he could get a favorable engagement in the next one and win the set.
Yeah.
Like that's an experienced player.
Yeah, they're still working on getting them in there. We'll have the match underway shortly. Yeah, I think Lapis. First of all, I've been saying it time and time again. I don't want to see Lapis spamming Flicker here, and this is even more crucial than what I've been saying it in the past matches because Quan is tanky. He has a lot of block. Imagine you're flickering, doing 30% less damage, and he even blocks some of them.
And he's countering you with his own counter gems.
And in the meantime, you're taking heavy damage from Quan's Molten Strike, so you're potting through all his damage and doing none yourself. He's got to be landing those hits in. He's got to be using his main skill. That's what it's made for. That's what he's built for. Goes in, gets the kill, comes out. It's got to be clean. If Quan's able to at all, sort of hold him out and make him use pots, Lapis will have no chance. So this will be a very, very true test of skill, I think. All right, we're in the match. You can go ahead and spectate either Lapis
I'm ready.
or Bloodline. Okay.
I'm ready.
Here we go. This will be exciting.
You would think maybe taking out multi-strike for Lapis would be a good idea, so he could just get the engagement and then multi-striking with Molten Strike instantly instead.
Yeah, he doesn't have multi-strike on his Molten, but I think he has it sometimes in his Flicker.
Yeah, you can tell.
Definitely don't want to see it there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see it there. Because his opponent wants to be in melee anyway. Lapis taking a lot of damage from the Molten Strike, but man!
Wow, Lapis
he's crit.
So much damage.
Crit Molten.
Yeah, so this is exactly what I'm saying. Because both players are melee, they're going to go up to each other's throats anyway. So I don't want to see any kind of flicker action by Lapis. And look at that, he's doing perfectly what he's got to do. Both players trying to pot out there, and Lapis coming out on top a second time. What's basically happening here is two melees are at each other's throats, and they're dealing damage to each other and potting through it. But because Lapis is crit dagger, he does so much more damage than Quan.
It can be really hard because most of these players use panic flasks, but with crit, it's all of a sudden you're just dead because you take half your HP, right? You're waiting to get low life, but you never reach it.
That's a really good point. Yeah, it's very easy to panic using panic flask against someone who, like Quan, does more
consistent damage, right? Yeah.
Whereas Lapis, sometimes you're at half HP where you can't panic, and then boom, you're dead.
They're just going in a straight line towards each other. I love it. Oh.
Wow, I was gonna say that he's got the position in the corner.
He's got the best position. That was.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to a little bit of it comes down to the damage output and also the RNG of the projectiles hitting.
Right. Oh, okay,
Quan.
He's really low HP. He's got a Curse Immunity up that he pumped at low life. Kind of a waste there if he didn't want to commit with at least another health flask.
Yeah, definitely a mistake there with this flask. Flasks are so important in PvP. Anyone who says that there's no skill in PvP is completely wrong because flasks is like half of the game. Let's be real.
Yeah, if not more.
Yeah, it's so important.
So you see something here that's pretty. Oh. Got a good engagement. Lapis getting great damage in. Can he finish off Quan though? Quan, stands his ground but falls. GG.
Two very, very good players. I can't stress this enough. These are very, very good players. They've been winning a ton of events this season and the previous one as well. So wow, that's GG really.
Yeah. And one thing that you can we can mention is if you pay attention to these players, they're very good at PvP and their builds, and they know exactly how to play it. And one thing with Molten Strike, it's a very popular melee ability, is when you attack with it, the projectiles go in a decently sized AoE area. But what you saw them doing here, I think it was like second or third round, Lapis was standing at the bottom and attacking with his Molten Strike. And because there's technically walls here where the projectiles can't jump over, all the projectiles become concentrated in a very small area because of the map layout. So that's why we were surprised, because Lapis was just standing here spamming and all the projectiles were in a very concentrated area, and we thought Quan would just fall over, but I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Maybe he was attacking in the wrong way or something. I don't know. So
yeah, you know, the projectiles are kind of RNG based a little bit there.
But you also see them going up against like pillars, walls, attacking with Molten, trying to lure their opponent into it and get some more concentrated damage.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely you know, good game there. Unfortunately for Quan, he's out of the tournament. Lapis will continue on, and now is the
finals. The grand finals
versus Lapis. Two Bloodlines players too. Pretty happy about that. They're exceptionally good players, and yeah, so that's going to be Puncture Trapper versus the incredible Lapis that we just saw with a one-shot dagger. It's really interesting here because we've seen Rorschach beat you know, the dagger one-shot builds by just working them down, and so
wearing them
Lapis,
down.
Yeah, I hope Lapis is more damage than them, because otherwise, you know, Rorschach's just gonna play his game, do his evasiveness game where he's kind of like a ninja, you know, teleporting around and using mirror arrow, blink arrow.
I am
All
ready.
Right, are you ready?
I am ready. In the blue. In the blue corner, we have Lapis.
Round 1.
In the red corner, we have Rorschach. Alright.
Here we go. Both players trying to get to the bottom. Lapis getting there first. He's got his bow set up. Probably going to try to get either a puncture shot or get a bit of frenzy charges. And, you know, Rorschach's already got a lot of traps in the middle. Lapis has to avoid that. I want to see Lapis using Rain of Arrows a lot here. Like there's... Oh, and Arc is just as good. Yep, he's using Arc. Oh, and there was still a trap there.
Port New Stealthy. Oh my god. The Whirling Blade brought him down to 30%. So, yeah, like you said, Whirling Blade still has really good damage.
Yeah. And, you know, the Molten Strike balls are really easy for Rorschach to avoid. He's able to... We've seen it time and time again. He just runs away from them in time. So most of the Lapis's damage is going to come from Flicker and Whirling, I think.
Man, it's kind of odd seeing Lapis with the bow, playing like an off spec kind of.
Yeah, like
against Rorschach
for sure.
Yeah, reminiscent of MacGyver.
Yeah, we've actually seen Fightguard doing that similar build this season in Blitz. He's got an incredible bow damage and cyclone damage. I really like those builds because they're versatile. They adapt to the situation. It's really cool. And there, Lapis is having trouble hitting with the single proj, but it does way more damage.
But Rorschach is taking a lot of damage. I've seen him using quite a few pots. Oh, Lapis.
Round 3.
Yeah, and you know, here's the advantage. Rorschach has traps on the ground and he's spamming the bow, whereas Lapis can only spam the bow. So every time Lapis goes in, if he doesn't Rain of Arrow first or Arc, he's going to teleport into a massive amount of traps.
Yeah.
Just like he did right there.
But the crazy dagger damage, as you can see there, it's just incredible.
Yeah, Rorschach can only survive if he physically avoids the projectiles falling on him. If they touch him, that's it. You know, it's like you know, a game of tag. You just gotta avoid him at all costs.
Lapis, the one-shot wonder. Once again, we see the failed mirror arrow, allowing Lapis to engage really well, but what happened?
Definitely a mistake there from Lapis. I saw him go in with the blink arrow right onto a trap that he could have otherwise tried to pop with Rain of Arrow or Arc. And really good teleport there. Oh, a little mistake there. He actually ran and had to pot. He actually just used the health pot because he made a mistake there. He was really far away from Rorschach and kept running with puncture on him. You know, little mistakes like that will cost you your flask. Yeah, that was clean. Very clean. That's definitely the kind of thing we have to see. And you know, this is it. Like we're right there at that last point where Rorschach could just take it. So Lapis has to win this round to tie it up. If he's low on flask, then I want to see him delay this round, tie it up, and try again with a full flask, because we know that Lapis benefits a lot from having max flask.
Yeah, but he only needs one good engagement. Oh, you see the puncture is so much stronger for Rorschach.
Wow, incredible. Rorschach winning. And I don't know if you noticed there, but Rorschach has the little aura around him. I don't know if you can see it still. He's wearing that belt that reduces crit damage taken on yourself.
Oh, really?
Very interesting. Yeah, it sacrifices your block and spell block.
Oh, really? And it gives a little bit of life and resist too. So it's not a bad belt.
It's not a bad belt, but he is losing damage, right? Because otherwise he'd be
24
using
physical or the Meganords or...
Yeah, exactly. Meganords really good bow belt. And using it instead to make Lapis do less damage, it's amazing. So, I mean, Rorschach taking it home totally deserves it. I think he played exceptionally well. It's so hard to catch someone who's like running around like that and, you know, cleverly teleporting, blinking arrow, etc.
Wow. Well played by both players. So Rorschach is going to be the champion of the EU Tournament Bloodline Invitational, and he's going to be the winner, the proud owner of an Alienware computer.
Yeah. Speaking of the computer, yeah, it's an awesome prize. You know, huge shout out to Alienware for providing it. I believe it's called an Alpha. It's a gaming console that you plug to your TV and you use like a controller, so kind of like an Xbox or PlayStation, but it runs Steam OS. So all your Steam games on your computer can be played on your TV. So a fantastic prize.
Plug and play computer.
Exactly. It's like best of both worlds, right? PC Master Race as a gaming console. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Rorschach. I hope he enjoys his prize. But this isn't over, guys, because we have a US Invitational.
This was only the first half.
Yeah, it's coming up in about, I think Chris was telling me it was in about 2 hours. So, you know, pretty exciting stuff. So if you enjoyed what you saw today, right now, come back later. Come back.
Hit the follow button on Path of Exile on Twitch, so you get the announcement when we go live with the second half of the tournament, and you can tune back in to see me and Green Dude once again with some awesome PvP spectacle.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed that one. If you can't make it to the next one, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming. Otherwise, we'll see you again later. So that's it for us.
Also, if you are tuning into this and you have no idea what this game is, go to pathofexile.com. It's a free-to-play action RPG, and you're gonna love it. If you're a big Diablo fan or action RPG fan, you're gonna love this one. And it's free to play. Just download it. Just go.
All right. Thank you very much from myself, Green Dude.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. All right. I'm gonna play us out with some beautiful Act 4 music. Act 4 hype. All right, you guys. See you later. Have a good night.